you take that, Black Macho Man Randy Savage? Doesn't he make you so mad that you just want to go down there and hit him? Well, maybe not him because he's kind of big, but you just want to hit the guy sitting next to you? Well, not him because he's kind of big too, but you just want to hit his kid? Hey, grab Macho Man Randy Savage.
And boom, just like that, it's Thursday night, and you know what that means, party people. It's party time. We're the Video Bros. I'm Bobby Munson. The man next to me, sing it with me. It's Up a Smoke. Oh, and I forgot to mention the man with the angelic voice, my brother Papa Smokes. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Munson. Another Thursday night, another awesome episode of Ring Respect Radio, and a special guest today.
We do have a special guest right down there, the rising star of Prairie Pro Wrestling, having made his debut just this year, if I'm not mistaken. We've got Maurice Waltz with us. Maurice, thanks for doing the show.
That's right, ladies, gentlemen, people of the internet. Maurice Waltz has decided to embrace Ring Respect Radio with my presence. And let's just say I'm looking forward to talking a whole lot of trash and maybe, just maybe, answering a couple questions as we go along.
We got a fan of yours up in the house here. We got McWiggin joining us, saying the hottest upcomer.
Hottest upcomer in more ways than one. Oh,
more ways. So that MW, not just Maurice Waltz, but more ways than one.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. But also going over to the chat, we want to say hello to some of our good friends, including the two-time Twitch International Intercontinental Twitch Trivia Champion of Ring Respect Radio, Mr. Chris Best, CBRS Entertainment, co-host of Turnbuckle Talk, and one of the members of the Monday Night Raw watch-along here on our local establishment. How you doing, my brother? Chris Best, can you confirm, are you joining the Video Bros on Saturday night for the watch-along tailgate party for MLW's Fightland 2023, along with Mr. Chris Parrish? Let us know in the chat there. Also, speaking of brothers, there's one of our own, Joshua Joseph, joining us up that has the voice. Go check out A Moment with Joshua Joseph. Got some great shit going on over there. Make sure you're following all his socials as well, too. And we got our third video bro up in the house, the man that took an ass kicking at the last show from a chair shot thrown by Mr. Cannonball Kelly. It's Basser up in the house saying, "Konnichiwa, my lads." And, of course, we got Bobby Petito, Bobby Stats himself, dropping some of the MLW news, saying the God Queen, Delmi Exo, calling out Mayu Yamashita for MLW's one-shot. Man, they got more promotion going on for that Thursday night one-shot than they do for Fightland this Saturday. We'll talk a little bit about that later on in this program. Yes, we said the hottest upcomer. And
that's right, okay, you can say it again.
Yeah, we don't mind saying it. Mick Wiggin loves to make sure that the world knows. And Chris Best can confirm he will be joining us on Saturday night. So good to hear. But, I mentioned to our special guest, Jack, if you want to ask any questions to Maurice Waltz, do so. But, Maurice, I'm going to start things off making your debut in Prairie Pro Wrestling up against another up-and-comer in Prairie Pro Wrestling, somebody who you would have shared the ring with in training at the Prairie Pro Wrestling Academy. What can you tell me about that experience of going in there for the first time live with Riley Cruz inside the Sports Circle?
I knew this question was coming because, of course, Riley and we started at basically the exact same time. So we've been training for as long as each other. And while I won't say he's a kiss ass, he's definitely going down a very different road than I. his punk rock metalhead wannabe, whatever he's got going on. I knew that we would be a bit heated, that first match against each other would be to show who's the best coming out of our training. And he may have gotten the upper hand on me tonight, but let's face it, I underestimated him. He's a punk ass kid. I was up in my head, and it will not be a mistake I make again. That said, that is also the only match that I have lost since my debut.
Yeah.
You could say I'm on an undefeated streak.
You could
Cannonball
say that.
Kelly, 2 chances to get it done. Couldn't get it done. I go to other provinces, still don't lose over there. So, you know, I'm past that debut. That loss doesn't mean anything to me. Riley Cruz, next time I see him, I've got his number. You can guarantee that.
Got to say, the one thing that stood out in that match, definitely, no matter what, was that slap that you
Oh.
delivered.
Oh, yeah.
Across the face of Riley Cruz. I don't know if we've ever seen somebody slapped so hard in a Prairie Pro Wrestling ring before.
I had that one prepped and primed, ready to go. I was just waiting for that moment. I knew he would step up, try and do something amateur, like shake my hand. We're in the ring. We're trying to win. It's our debut. We both have something to prove. You think I'm not going to take the opportunity to just wipe that smirk off of his face? Like, does he think he's better than me?
Well, you definitely woke everybody up with that slap. But Papa Smokes, I'm going to toss this one over to you before we start getting some of the chat interaction as well, too. But some of the questions that you've got for Mr. Maurice Waltz.
For sure. I wanted to bring up the slap as well, because to me, that was the moment that really put you on the map early on in your first match. We talked about it on commentary. It sounded like a gun going off, and it was like a wake-up call to the PPW Nation that, ooh, damn, we got someone new here, someone that's dead serious about this. So let me ask you, what are some of your goals coming into PPW? There's all kinds of competition, all kinds of talent here. What do you hope to accomplish within the PPW roster?
Well, this question kind of goes beyond even just PPW, more so just wrestling in general, my goal for wrestling in general. I said it once, I'll say it again. My path to the top is an endless waltz. But I will not stop, I will not die until I get to exactly where I know I'm capable of being in this sport. And so that's the goal. Whether it's gold, whether it's not, I'm sure that'll come eventually. Right now, I just want to beat the best so I can be the best. Self-actualization, you know?
Nice.
Wow.
Great way to start things off. Let's go over to the chat here. Bobby Petito, a.k.a. Bobby Stats, wants to know, Morris, which company would you like to wrestle at? Are there any that come to mind that you would definitely be looking forward to?
If we're talking local or just in Canada, I'll wrestle for anyone. Recently wrestled for LPW. I'd love to be back there. I've got a lot to prove. I was not pinned. When I went down there, I did not lose, so I'd like another shot. PPW, I still got to become the best here. That'll come in time. If we're talking long term, I mean, AEW, Impact, WWE, New Japan. New Japan would be something special, something very special.
There we go. I am the New Japan scene. I know that Melball Collins, an expert when it comes to Japanese wrestling, would become very familiar with Maurice Waltz maybe one day when he makes his way over to New Japan. But we got Mick Wiggin wanting to know, how do you feel about El Asesino interrupting your recent matches? And I know this can be a touchy subject. We know that Asesino's got a little bit of an attitude about him. And I'm even fearful for even bringing it up because I'll watch my back in the next show too.
Look, I've said this before too. I actually respect El Asesino and how he just does whatever the hell he wants. You know, he's got a spot where I would like to be, where I can just, you know, go out, interrupt people's matches, hit people with chairs, and just get away with it. You know, that'd be great. That'd be great. I have no beef with Asesino. He's going to do his stuff, whatever. I don't care about the wins, the losses, which I didn't lose to Cannonball. I did not lose either of those matches due to El Asesino. That's whatever. But, you know, I would like to maybe just make sure that he doesn't do it again. Get back at him some way to make sure that maybe he, takes me seriously as a competitor and lets me run my business. And then he can come do his. He could have just waited for me to kick cannonballs, coward balls, ass, and then come in and picked up the scraps. That would have been perfectly fine by me. As it stands, no beef, no heat with Assassino. But one of these days he'll get what's coming to him.
Well, I do got to commend you. I mean, twice in a row going head-to-head with a former #1 contender to the Prairie Pro Wrestling Championship, and coming out of those matches looking very, very strong. So a message has been sent. Melball wanted to know, did someone say New Japan Pro Wrestling? Yes. Maurice Waltz said New Japan Pro Wrestling there, Melball. And so, Mel, let us know, who would you like to see take on Maurice Waltz if he ever makes his way to New Japan? Better yet, is there anybody over in the Japanese market, Maurice, that you've had your eye on, that if you had that opportunity to get in there and show them what you're all about, what name comes to mind?
Honestly, one of the names at the forefront is actually someone who I studied a lot of his ROH matches, his LA dojo matches, Kenta. Kenta just kicks the ever-loving crap out of people, and that's something I aspire to do. So, hey, I'd like to go toe-to-toe with Kenta maybe one day, throw some kicks, see who's got the stronger legs. Other than that, I mean, there's so many big names that far off into the future. By the time I get to them, they might not even be around anymore. Okada, Shibata's not in New Japan anymore, but Shibata, the legend, among many, many other names. I know Ospreay, ZSJ likes kicks. There's a lot of big names over there.
Definitely so. I would a lot of names that got dropped that I'd like to see when we got here. Lobel says, "Oh, we are going to get along, my friend."
Friend is a bit strong. Maybe we'll get there. Who knows?
We'll get there anyway. Bob Smoke sent it back your way. What else would you like to ask our guest?
Well, talking about kicking skill, it's obvious that you bring a great degree of striking skill into the pro wrestling ring. So I'd like to hear a little bit more about the obvious martial arts training you've had in the past. Maybe a little karate, maybe a little taekwondo.
Bingo. Taekwondo, I've been doing that since I was a wee little lad, 5 years old. So going over 2 decades of taekwondo. I've got my 3rd Dan black belt. I could easily go for my 4th if I wanted. I'm eligible, actually been eligible for about 6 years now to go for my 4th Dan. But, priorities change. Now I want to slam people as much as I kick them, which is not quite something. It's a little frowned upon in Taekwondo, but.
Well, definitely we can see that as being crossed over into your work inside the PPW ring. And again, we said it before, some of the deadliest strikes that we've seen inside that ring so far. PPW Nation, watch out, because Maurice Waltz making a name. But yeah, chat, let us know what else you got here. Pop Smokes, what else do you want to know from Maurice?
Well, we've been seeing in PPW over the past year and a half or so a pretty heavy influx of Western Canadian wrestlers not from Saskatchewan. How do you feel about this? Do you feel a different feeling coming up as a Saskatchewan wrestler and having to face some wrestlers from different areas of the country coming into our backyard to get some glory?
Like I said, I'm willing to just wrestle anyone. Anyone they throw in front of me, anyone who wants to stand across from me, good guy, bad guy, starter, main eventer, I don't care. I'll wrestle anybody, whether they're from SK to Ontario to Vancouver. Not a problem for me. Would I go over there? I'd love to. I'd love to travel and wrestle as many people as I can. Prove myself. Like I said, I just want to be the best. And I know I can be the best. I just need those opportunities. Saskatoon, Saskatchewan is probably not the best place to... I think it is a good place to get my foot in the door. As we said already, I've been to Alberta. Maybe just another province the other way. Who knows? I'll go wherever they want me. I'll go wherever I want to, honestly. Just give me the time.
Awesome. JJ Josh Joseph wants to know, would you wrestle a bear?
I did that. I didn't wrestle it,
What?
but I fought it. Oh, yeah. Brokenville, Saskatchewan, you gotta know,
Huh.
there's tons of bears roaming around. Black bears all over the place. I was walking down the street one day. I call it a street. It's more like a gravel road, Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
Black bear just walking on by, started giving me funny looks. Had to let her know who's boss. Not technically wrestled it, but I kicked it as hard as I could. And that thing, it didn't want nothing.
Okay, your cool factor just went
Yeah.
up like 10
Oh, hell
notches right there, man. That's badass. That is the most badass story we've had here on Ring Respect Radio after 7 years of doing this program. Awesome.
That's about as Canadian as it gets, too.
Right there, yeah, kicking bears in Saskatchewan.
Kicking bears and taking names.
Yeah, Mick Wiggins saying,
I'd show you its pelt, but it's like all the way upstairs and everything. So,
Yeah, you got a new nickname now. It's Maurice Bear Kicker Waltz.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
You watch the signs at the next PPW event. The VIP is going to have all those signs out there. It's going to be fantastic. But yeah, those crowds are great. What was it like going out there and seeing the PPW crowd standing at the top of the ramp? I know they haven't adhered to you and vice versa, but the moment of going out there, witnessing those audiences that we have crammed into that building.
I'll be honest. I want to say I don't care, but it's hard to. When I was debuting in front of over 300 people, 315 plus staff, that's ludicrous for a debut. You hear so many people talking about how they wrestle on the indies and bingo halls in front of 30 people. I debuted in front of 10 times that much. When you leave the curtain, honestly, I don't really care what the people think of me. So they kind of just fade to the background. All that matters is the person standing across from me and how I'm going to kick their ass. But hey, I definitely did hear a couple of those people chanting my name. I don't know what I did to get them to like me so much, but hey, you want to have the Maurice Waltz section? That's fine by me.
Yeah, we do have some very cynical fans amongst the PPW nation. That is for damn
I've noticed. And I just want to set the record straight real quick. It is Maurice Waltz. I don't know why I'm going places and they're calling me Maurice. I know that there's a way to pronounce the name, but it is Maurice. Maurice Waltz.
There you go, Maurice Waltz. It said right here, everybody pay attention. Make sure you put some respect on that name. That's what it comes down to.
Get it right, you fans out there.
Exactly. Chant my name and you're chanting wrong. Like, come on.
There you go. Well, we'll make sure the ring announcers are taking care of saying that correctly as well, too. But Papa Smokes, what's tickling your brain now?
Well, I've just been thinking about some of the past PPW shows, the intense level of competition. You already said that you don't mind wrestling anybody at any level on the card, be it in the preliminaries, be it in the mid card or the main event. But you've already stood up against Cannonball Kelly, a perennial main eventer in this area, not once but twice. So it's obvious that you're headed for the top. You're looking right at the top of the roster here. What do you think of the current PPW world title picture, including the champion Sheik Shabazz?
I think Sheik's a great guy. Great guy. He's got style. He's got flair. He's got his way with the microphone. He, like Assassino, he also doesn't give a crap. He attacked there's no proof he attacked Crash.
No, he admitted it. Proven. He admitted it last time out.
Maybe he was just playing it up for the crowd. Sure. But honestly, like I said, I want to face the best. Currently, he is the best in PPW that we've seen. He's got the belt, and that means he's a target. I'll get my way up there eventually, whether he's got the belt or not. I'd still like to face him one day.
There we go. That'll tie into a question that just popped in my mind. So we had an announcement at the last show. The Prairie Pro Wrestling is finally bringing in tag team championships for the very first time. Now, I know you're new to the roster, but is there anybody that you could see yourself working with if it meant an opportunity to take gold in the form of tag team titles?
Funnily enough, clearly Assassino has recognized me. He's recognized my work against Cannonball. So, hey, Assassino, maybe. Two guys with bad attitudes. Maybe there's something special there. Outside of Assassino, oh man.
Oh,
Yeah,
we got our.
it's kind of tough. We've got a pretty diverse roster with a lot of mean men on there. Uh, I don't know. It's kind of hard picturing myself in a tag team right now, especially when I'm trying to make a name for myself. I'm not trying to help make a name for somebody else at the same time. You know, I got to look out for number one first, but maybe somewhere down the line.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Do have a question coming in from our audience. JJ once said, you said AEW would be your desire for a promotion to achieve to. What would you bring to AEW, and do you think you could help AEW in their lack of creative storytelling? So, nice question that JJ brings up and takes a little bit of a dig at the end there, but
Great question.
feel free to answer that one best you can there.
Look, what could I bring to AEW that they already don't have? That roster is stacked. So what could I bring? A little bit of Maurice Waltz flair. The Endless Waltz takes me to any place at any time. If AEW is one of those places, while I don't have a concrete answer, I know that I could bring myself, my style, a whole lot of kicks. They got a lot of kickers there too, so maybe I'd have to have a kickoff with them. As for storytelling, look, I'm just trying to tell my own story right now. And that's just the story of me making a name for myself first and foremost. Before I go anywhere deeper, before I try anything deeper, I have to establish who I am to the people, to the roster, to myself. I have something to prove to all of these people before I worry about these TV storylines and stuff like that. So while I know that's kind of a cop-out answer, that's the best I got for you right now. Got to look out for myself and make a name for myself before I worry about that.
I think that's a very fair answer, to be honest. It says it all
Yeah.
right there. I mean, you got to make that stamp before you go over there and do those kind of things. So that's fantastic. Let's see here. We got Mick Wiggin with a question. Wants to know, does Waltz prefer to stand alone or... Oh, I think we just answered that one not that long ago, actually. So I think at the moment, I think stand alone would be the correct answer there, if I'm not mistaken.
Look, when you're in a dance, it's you and the other person, right?
Yep. All right. JJ has a follow-up question. Wants to know if you'll kick Jack Perry's head off for him.
Oh, I would love to. I would love to. Guy's trying to be Tarzan, but now he's Hollywood. Disappeared, who knows where. I'd love to kick a lot of those smug smirks off of people's faces. So Jack Perry?
Yeah.
Why not? Put him on the list.
Let's do it. We got
the
Chris Best
sound of
saying
that.
he'd like to see a kickoff between yourself and Brian Danielson.
Oh, yeah.
I'd pay to see that.
He can kick my head in, but I'll cave his chest in.
There we go. Nice. Bobby Stats got a question here. He says, who would you like to wrestle against from the current roster over on MLW or NWA?
Oh, that's kind of tough too. Wrestling is in such a good place right now where there's so many good names and so many different promotions. Like, who's the top guy at MLW right now?
That'd be the champ, Mr. Beaumaye, Alex Kane, friend of the show.
Does he watch?
He's watched. He's been on multiple shows here for us and stuff. He's a friend of the Video Bros.
Well, hey, they say shoot for the stars. That's your guy.
Yeah, he's our guy, and he's got the gold right now, so he's got to be number one target.
Kicks versus suplexes in that match. That would be good.
Oh, yeah.
Sure shit would be, man. That's something else.
Look, I like to keep the opponents at a foot's length away. You can't suplex me if you're a foot's length away, you know?
Yeah. And he's an angry man. Watch out, kick. Well, yes, Alex Kane, he's only an angry man when he's in the ring kicking people's asses. Otherwise, he's just a good dude. He sat here, talked to us. We had a good conversation before. He's good shit. He's a champ. He's a fighting man. He goes out there and he fights and he takes down opponents. Well, I don't see any harm in somebody having a little bit of that angry attitude when they're kicking ass and taking names.
Oh no, you need that fire, you need that heat, you need that anger inside of you, and you need someone else to take it out on. So hey, I respect that.
Well, Papa Smokes,
So is that-
what else you got?
Yeah, is that some of your motivation in professional wrestling? The kind of thing that you've taken from athletics beforehand, martial arts, possibly competitions in Taekwondo? What kind of fire do you bring from your previous athletic accomplishments into pro wrestling?
That's an interesting question. It's very, very different. You see, when you're doing a martial art, there's a sort of like discipline. They expect integrity from you. Uh, so you kind of have to adhere to some kind of standard of that. Whereas in pro wrestling, I can be who I really want to be. You know, I can actually go all out. I can kick someone's chest in. Whereas in Taekwondo, if I was to kick someone's chest in, they'd be disqualifying me. So, you know, the fire I bring is from that, from being caged up, from being locked in, from trying to put that fire out. I can let it out now. I can show it to everybody else, the people in the crowd, my opponents, number one. I can show it to them. And they can get a taste of who I really am firsthand.
Nice.
Love it.
Love it. Yeah. So we're going to give you guys a chance to get some more questions in the chat there as well. Pop Smokes, if you got some more, but I do want to just mention to everybody again, we're talking about Prairie Pro Wrestling. And if you happen to be in the Saskatoon area, get your tickets, VIP tickets now on sale for Seasons Meetings on Saturday, December the 2nd. It is our Christmas themed tapings. It is going to be off the hook. Remember last time, people didn't get pre-sale tickets and they were left out in the cold, especially not going to want to be doing that on December 2nd.
Tickets go fast. You want to watch yours truly kick someone's head off? Buy them now. Buy them now.
We've had a couple special requests for people that wanted to buy VIP because they're coming to see, hold on, Maurice Waltz. I want to put that respect on it.
Waltz.
But yeah, definitely make sure to get your tickets. Got to message your ticket dealer, message whoever you need to get a hold of. You know how to get a hold of those tickets. Make sure you get them beforehand because, again, over 100 people were left out in the cold last time. I could only imagine for the hottest ticket in town, you're going to be left out in the cold this time for sure because nobody is going to resist the temptation of buying a ticket ahead of time for this big card. It's going to be great. And again, we got the announcement, a number one contenders match for the Prairie Pro Wrestling Championship with Colton Kelly and Tony Novak. Again, very interesting set of events as of late with both of those two with the double count out of the previous show. So again, they want to settle the score to determine who truly gets that shot at Sheik Akbar Shabazz. Should Sheik get past the next show? Because we don't know at the moment. Sheik could be defending his belt at the next show. For all we know, it could be against you, Morris, because at the last show, Sheik got to pick his opponent, and he picked Taryn from Accounting, who was only on her second Prairie Pro Wrestling matchup. So at any given time, we don't know who the champ is going to point at and put inside that ring for him. And you got to jump on those opportunities. And I imagine you would take that shot if the Sheik offered it.
Always. I'm willing to test myself at any time. Anytime. As soon as my name comes from somebody's mouth, my ears are open.
Chris Best saying he seriously needs to take a trip out to Saskatchewan for a PPW show. Yes, Chris, you do.
Yes.
All the shows are great, but again, we always consider our Halloween themed show to be the biggest one of the year. So depending on what your flavor is, but you need to get a hold of myself and Bob Smokes if you want a ticket, if you know you're coming to town, because we may need to make you get on a list there. We got the PPW chance going from Vassar. Mick Wiggin, yes, he does. I know he does. Anybody needs to make their way down to Saskatchewan to experience what it's like to be in these crazy crowds. And again, I've heard many of the wrestlers in the back talk about it before, saying Saskatchewan ends up being one of their top 5 favorite crowds, especially PPW in particular. The fans there make it worth the experience for them. So again, make sure you get into a live capacity. Make sure you're checking out the matches on YouTube as well, too. Morris, your match is all up on the YouTube channel, doing very well for themselves. People definitely checking out your work there. In fact, the most recent release there against Cannonball Kelly, the match we've been talking about.
My debut match with Riley Cruz, that was the most viewed wrestling match in 6 months?
Yeah.
Clearly, the people liked what they saw.
Yeah.
And I've been watching the views just go up and up and up on my matches against Cannonball. So clearly, I mean, there's a common denominator in all 3 of those, and it's not Riley, it's not Coward Ball.
It's Maurice Waltz. There we go. But I do want to also mention to everybody as well, too. Again, Papa Smokes and I, we love our MLW. And again, this Saturday, they've got a live event and that is going to be 2023's Fightland with that big pay-per-view matchup. The headline of the show, the champion Alex Kane is going to be defending against Jacob Fatu, and you're going to be able to hang out with us, the Video Bros, as well as our boy Chris Best, CBRS Entertainment, and Chris Parrish as well too. We're going to be talking all things MLW as the show goes live at the annual or monthly, biannual, whatever we call it, the tailgate watch along party. So we'll be drunk, we will be all kinds of messed up, and we'll be eating good food and having fun with you guys. Make sure you're checking that out on Saturday night. We'll talk a little bit of MLW here as we get to the top of the hour. But again, I want to go back here. Papa Smokes, more questions that you might have for our guest.
Well, I was just thinking about the last PPW live show, which was Ring of Horrors at Halloween time, as you mentioned, Munson, one of the bigger shows of the year. However, that show is more based around fun. I see that show as a good time for the fans. It's a big party. But the next show, Seasons Beatings, December 2nd at Cosmo Center, it's back to business. We got a #1 contenders match and a whole bunch of other action. Morris, do you see this as your opportunity to get back in there, have a singles match, get yourself back in everybody's minds, all the fans' minds, and on the ratings system, getting into that top 5 or top 3 contender spot? As you said, anxious to test your skills against Sheik Akbar Shabazz. We're back in business December 2nd. And what are you looking forward to for that night?
Well, and I got a lot to say on this subject actually, because they're claiming that Ring of Horrors was the biggest show of the year. How can that be when I wasn't there? I laid out the challenge. I don't know if anyone saw it on Twitter or X, whatever they call it these days.
Yep.
I laid out a challenge for anybody in the locker room to come out and face me at Ring of Horrors, and not a single person, not one person, had the stones to do it. And that's okay, I understand, because quite frankly, I wouldn't want to fight me either. But let's just say that December, Seasons Beatings, someone's got a beating coming into it, because I've got something to prove. I'm coming in with a chip on my shoulder now. These people don't want to face me? Well, what if they don't have a choice? What if I go backstage and do what every good wrestler does these days and politic my way into a sure match, huh? No one can run from me then. So you can bet your ass that I'm coming into Seasons Beatings with something to prove. Someone's getting their chest kicked in, that's for sure.
I like it. That's straight fire right there. That is awesome. I think we're going to be clipping that right there, that whole moment, and let the world know, so that the whole PPW roster can find out that the challenge is laid out once again. Because hell yeah, we want to see that match. Any of those matches, whoever comes your way, we want to see kicking ass and taking names. And it's my brunch buster brother, Mr. Chris Parrish, dropping in. Hello, Parrish. How are you doing, my man? Glad you could join us here on Ring Respect Radio. And again, Parrish was in the audience when you made your debut against Riley Cruz there, and also would have been at the recent LPW show. So again, familiar with your work, Chris Parrish, former, maybe not so former, semi-retired professional wrestler. Parrish, I know how you're itching to get back in that ring. I mean, if you do, you might have to encounter this man right here, Maurice Waltz, at some point in time. And I don't know, Parrish, I mean, you're a new papa. I kind of fear for having to get in way of some of those strikes.
Look, I'm not calling anybody out here, but hey, if you want to get in the ring with me.
And I'm totally not trying to make things happen, but when in Rome.
Ring Respect just causing all kinds of beef, huh?
Yeah.
What are you starting here, Munson?
I would never do any such thing. I'm totally innocent. Like, it's you're the true devil here, Papa Smokes, not I. But yeah, anyway, I don't have any other questions. Chat, if you got questions for Maurice Waltz, let us know. But Papa Smokes, anything else that you'd like to ask our guests here today? If he hasn't frozen in time, there we go. Dropout number 2 for Papa Smokes here tonight. Papa Smokes, any last? Sorry, I was just going to say, any last questions that you have for our guest here this evening?
No, I just wanted to say it's an extreme pleasure, Mr. Waltz. And with kicks like that, I'm going to call you Mr. until I hear otherwise. I think you should do the same, Munson.
All
But it's
right.
been great having you on here, getting a little glimpse inside one of the minds of one of the up and coming stars in PPW. In my opinion, the hottest star and the blue chip stock that's coming up through PPW. Very
The
big
up
pleasure,
and
sir.
coming.
That's
The
right.
up and coming wrestler.
That's right. And I think your success is going to come sooner rather than later. I've watched a lot of wrestlers, and I see a winner right here with confidence and poise so early in his career that, man, you've got all the potential in the world, and I'm looking tremendously forward to seeing all your matches from this point out.
And again, that's all we had for questions. It's up to you as the guest. You're welcome to stick around. We're going to be just talking about MLW Fightland on Saturday. But if you do have to go, I know you're a busy man, stuff like that. Wouldn't blame you for having to drop out. You sticking around, or you got to take off for the evening?
Well, like you said, I am a busy man. I got places to be, people to kick. You know how it goes.
We know how
Anybody
it
who
goes,
wants to follow me along on kicking people, Endless Waltz SK. Give
There
me
we
a
go.
follow.
On that X, make sure that you're following along. Make sure you check out the matches on Prairie Pro Wrestling as well as LPW. Matches for Maurice Waltz are available, and to be checking out December 2nd, because we've got it on record now that there is a challenge on that table. So hopefully the PPW roster is paying attention. Bobby saying a great interview.
Anybody. Seasons beatings. See me.
And then Paris just flat out saying maybe if PPW needs tag teams that maybe he could talk to you. You know, of course, Paris being my boy, we could try to work something out here. So
nothing's off the table. Nothing's off the table.
And you're wrong, Paris. Tag titles are on their way to Prairie Pro Wrestling. Stay tuned, December 2nd. That's coming up. But we want to thank Maurice Waltz, Endless Waltz SK, over on Twitter for joining us here tonight. We will see you, sir, Mr. Waltz, at Prairie Pro Wrestling on December the 2nd. Thank you very much for taking the time with us here tonight, and you're welcome back here at Ring Respect Radio anytime.
All I've got to say is that this has been a pleasure. To you two for hosting, to everybody watching, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks again, brother.
Have a good night.
You too.
All right, that was an awesome time there with Maurice Waltz, Papa Smokes. That was a good, nice 40-minute interview here with the up and comer of Prairie Pro Wrestling. Very much looking forward to seeing what he brings to the table on December 2nd. And I was sorry, Paris, I was trying to set up some sort of match there. So I'm just kind of I like to stir the pot. Like to get things boiling over so that we can get some good fights on our hands. And Morris needs some good fights, that. But what a great interview! Great. Well, I mean, man, he brought the heat tonight, Papa Smokes. I mean, you get a lot of these young guys sometimes, and they're not quite sure how to compose themselves in an interview. But Morris was prepared, very prepared here this evening.
Absolutely, and completely unflappable. A guy that's just oozing with confidence at this point, and he's got a lot of poise. I'm going to assume that some of that is from his martial arts experience in the back, but this guy fears no other wrestler on the PPW roster or anywhere, I don't think. And as you notice, it's not too hard to set up a challenge with him because he's welcoming all comers in the wrestling ring. This guy wants to build his career. He wants to get experience. He wants to have experience fighting all different kinds of wrestlers with all different kinds of styles from anywhere in Canada or on the planet Earth. As he said earlier in this interview, I can't help but be impressed with a burgeoning young talent like that that's just got all kinds of poise and charisma and is willing to take on anybody and learn in the ring. Wow, he's up and coming, that's for sure.
Sure as hell is. But yes, let's go to a couple of announcements here, Papa Smokes. So looking at the calendar, I know that we've got that December 2nd show for Prairie Pro Wrestling. That means that on November 30th, the final day of the month, it's a Thursday night, and that means we're going to be bringing you our Prairie Pro Wrestling Seasons Beatings preview show. So we're going to be talking all things Prairie Pro Wrestling at that very night. Who knows? Maybe we'll We'll see if we can get again another Prairie Pro Wrestling related guest to come join us on the program. But that means we've got this Thursday coming up next Thursday that is kind of open. And I think keeping in theme of a certain program that needs to happen at least once per month, it's time for our WTF Do We Know About Wrestling Pub Trivia Night number 5.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be the 5th time we're doing this. So get your thinking caps on and get ready for those titles to be on the line. 2-time champ Chris Bess and, of course, Chris Parrish over on the YouTube side. Your titles are going to be on the line 1 week from tonight as we bring you a pub trivia night again here on Ring Respect Radio. One of the most fun and talked about shows that we've been doing, Papa Smokes, and I got to thank both Chris Parrish and Ed Fries last night on Wrestle Draft, really talking up the show and saying a lot of praises for the trivia night that we do.
Good thing, too. It's become one of our most popular things. Oh, yeah. All right.
Masters joining us for PPW preview show on the 30th. There we go. Good news.
All right. Beautiful. But trivia night has become such a big thing for us on Ring Respect Radio once per month. Something to look forward to. Game we can all play together. All interaction between us and the fans always turns out into a good time. Let the trash talking begin. Everybody, we're counting it down to the next trivia night.
You got it. Chris Bess saying, my title is shined up and ready for another successful defense. Can somebody dethrone the champion, or will he be the three-time defending champion after this one? I'm very curious to see Chris Bess holding on tight to that belt this second time around. We're going to find that out in 1 week's time. We'll figure it out. I think we might just go back to a standard wrestling theme. No gimmicks on this one, because we just got out of the Halloween season. We've got Christmas around the corner, so I'm sure we'll do something themed in the December theme there. So this one, it's straight wrestling theme this time out on WTF Do We Know About Wrestling. That's coming up next Thursday night. And of course, Basser mentioning he's free. We're going to have a Video Bro party talking all things PPW leading into that show as well, too. And man, it's been a crazy year here, Papa Smokes. We've just had a lot of fun. It's been a lot of different things added to the show. And of course, we've mentioned about doing this trip through the territories. And I wanted to throw this out there to you. Are you prepared enough to start giving me the info of where we want to start so we can hit this off in the new year? We could start doing it as of January.
Yep. Yes, I am ready. It's been one of the main tasks in setting this whole thing up was just basically whittling down all the information into something workable. I think I have it down to 12, maybe 15 territories that we can cover. Major ones, mostly from America at this point. But of course, if we like the show and it takes off with the fans a little bit, we can certainly do other countries in the world. But yeah, 12 or 15 to start off with. Do one every so often. This will require us to do some research and watch some matches, just like we used to do every week for Ring Respect Radio also. So good times where we can all learn some stuff together with a trip through the territories. I want to learn about more historical wrestling myself, and I'd like to maybe open the eyes to some of the modern wrestling fans, some of our fans that watch online here, that maybe we can all learn something about the previous territory system together.
Yeah, it's going to be great, man. Looking forward to taking this opportunity. So definitely start sending the info my way, Papa Smokes. I'm going to have some time coming up here that I can start doing the research and prepping myself for those as well, too. And I think it'll be very successful. Hope everyone's going to look forward to it. And what we'll do is once a month on Ring Respect Radio, we will be taking a trip through the territories and providing information, talking matches, talking about who were the hot stars in those areas, maybe some of the unheard names or unsung heroes of those areas as well, too, and the bookers themselves. It's going to be a fun time learning and interacting here with us as we take a trip through the territory. So a lot going on in the new year, of course, but what we got continuously is MLW, Papa Smokes. They're never shy of things to do. And of course, we got Fightland coming up this Saturday, and then early December, we've got MLW's One Shot, and it seems like they're just going all out for One Shot. That's on a Thursday, so that's going to be Ring Respect Radio tailgate watch-along party on a Thursday night for that one. Well, let's talk this Saturday with what we got going on. Christmas saying looks like I need to watch Tales from the Territories. LOL. Yeah, that's we'll take you on that trip through the territories there, Chris. It's going to be great. Looking forward to it. But let's talk a little bit about this Saturday, Papa Smokes. So far, and Bobby Stats, let me know, were there any other matches added to the card on Fusion tonight? I haven't seen Fusion yet. I don't know if they announced anything this evening about this. I know Bobby had this one about the tapings. So at the tapings this Saturday, Gia Scott and Zeta Steel will be competing for the featherweight division. I'm curious to know, though, if they announced another match for the main card, because really I see 4 matches listed right now for this card on Saturday. First up, we've got the Lucha Rules tag team match. Rocky Romero and I'm going to say this wrong, so please correct me. Barbaro Cavanario, sorry. They're going to be taking on Ichiban and Mascara Dorada. Interested to see how this one goes. Selena De La Renta going to be in the corner, of course, of Rocky Romero, who's been part of her group there. There's a lot of names here I don't know, but I do know that this is kind of leading, I think, in MLW's eyes to the inevitable Ichiban Rocky Romero one-on-one matchup.
Yeah, probably. And what better way to start selling it is get them in contact with each other a little bit in a tag team match. You can kind of control how much contact they have with each other and how much they don't, and just build up to this inevitable confrontation between Ichiban and his opponent there. And this should be all right. Again, MLW likes to take their time, set stuff up in advance, and this will be part of that right there, I think.
And Bobby confirming they didn't announce any other further matches for this Saturday's card either, so that's interesting. The caveman is great. He dresses like Fred Flintstone in his intro. Oh, man, I'm curious to. Okay, we'll see. So moving on to the next match that we have on that card there, Bob Smokes. Matt Cardona is going to be taking on Mance Warner with a loser leaves MLW stipulation. Makes me wonder why they would put this kind of stipulation on their roster with so many recent exits from MLW. But clearly, I mean, we're as MLW fans, we're used to this. It's guys come, guys go. Same with the ladies. It's one of those things. MLW is, and I've said it in other chats, it's a stepping stone. It's there to help them get the exposure that they need, get the start they need, working cameras, working pre-tapes, everything like that. MLW is not one of the big guys. They're one of the guys that are there for be a stepping stone to try to help out wrestlers' careers. Hopefully they do in the process. So unfortunately, one of these two, we knew Matt Cardona wasn't going to be there forever. Mance Warner's got a lot of stuff going on too. So this could really go either way, despite the fact that they have announced Cardona for one shot. I mean, MLW has announced things before and then taken it away based on decisions made in their direction.
Yeah. And I'm not really sure how to pick the winner of this match, Cardona versus Manser, because we know, like you said, we know Cardona's not going to be a permanent thing. This guy tours the indies. He plays wherever he wants to. He's made a living of doing that. Manser, I thought, might be around a little longer this time. He hasn't only been back except for a couple of months at this point. But again, Mance Warner seems to come and go from MLW. It's not a landing spot for him. So who knows about this? But that'll be fun to see the result of during the pay-per-view card. But I wanted to say one thing as we talked about some of the recent departures from MLW. Yes, you mentioned it. We are used to this, but I really hate the feeling that I get when this happens. And we've seen it happen with a bunch of our favorites, wrestlers we liked. And now the latest victim of this, so to speak, is Alexander Hammerstone, one of the huge standbys of the company over the past 5 years or more. I don't know if you watched on social media, but Hammerstone released a video wanting to address some of the speculation around his situation with MLW. And he posted a very candid 2-minute verbal promo about, or not a promo, but a little interview of what was actually going on in his situation with MLW. And it was sad to see, man. He doesn't have any information. He said, I haven't been told one thing and I haven't been told the other. I've asked, I've called the promoter, I've called the president of the company, I've called everybody. No one's calling me back. I haven't been booked on the last couple of sets of shows, and I have no indication that I'm going to be booked in the future. Okay, these things happen in the wrestling business and all different kinds of businesses, pardon me. You're not always going to get your way, but man, are they really going to do Alexander Hammerstone like that? A guy that's really taken it upon himself to do a lot of the heavy lifting in that company, basically almost carrying it on his back for a while as babyface champion. When they made their TV deal switches and all the rest of it, he was the shining babyface of the company and the masthead of the company. And are they really going to let him go out like this? Let his contract expire, not talk to him, not tell him anything, not allow him to make plans for the future. They're just going to starve it out like that. It gives me a weird feeling in my stomach, Bunsen. We've seen this a few times now, but come on. Hammerstone, really?
Yeah. Well, let me pose this one to you, Papa Smokes, because I have kind of brought this up on busting out and stuff too. I wonder, and do you think maybe that this could have anything to do with the current lawsuit going on with MLW and WWE, where if MLW might fear in letting someone the talent of Alexander Hammerstone go at the moment, despite the fact that they aren't necessarily paying him his money that he would get for pay-per-view appearances, despite being ready to go. Do they fear that in allowing him to go will allow him to immediately negotiate with someone like a WWE, and they just don't want to, they want to prevent it, they want to prolong it? And I know it's petty, but it almost makes me wonder if they're not doing something that, you know, the old Vince would have done, and that's to try to squeeze these people and really make it so that they can't go and immediately work for the competition somewhere.
No, sure, sue another company for talent tampering and then do it yourself at the same time. I don't know. I can't. This is all speculation at this point, right? We're not in the middle of these business dealings.
Yeah.
We don't know who's calling Hammerstone. We don't know what his plan is. But as a fan, as someone who's watching it on TV, as someone who's, you know, reading some rumors and some other information that comes across, whatever little tidbits we can get about MLW, try and consume that just to get a picture of the whole company. And it really does leave me with a kind of gnawing, empty feeling in my gut, the way that the company treats some of these wrestlers. And I get it. It's a tough business. We've heard of AEW doing the same things. They don't call the guy. They just let his let his contract expire. And then it's just basically like ghosting someone, you know, like, yeah, you got your checks right up until the end. We agreed you would get them, but I'm not even firing you. Not in person, not in a text, not in a phone call, not in anything. We're just starving you out. And yeah, I get it. It's happened a million times. Wrestling's a tough business. Show business is a tough business, but and I also realize that Hammerstone ain't gonna want to stay with MLW his whole life. It's a stepping stone. It's a stopping point to get experience along the way. But if he wasn't ready to leave, it strikes me as bizarre that they wouldn't be willing to work with him, especially when they kind of don't have very much name brand talent right now. Not much like extremely marketable talent like Alexander Hammerstone and a Richard Holiday were in the past.
Yeah, and then you got the fear that Jacob Fatu might be at any time wrestling his last match in MLW, because I mean we've been holding on to that one for quite some time, and that Jacob Fatu is one of the best kept secrets in professional wrestling. Period. So I'm surprised nobody's managed to snag him yet.
Yeah. Again, it's hard to speak on the inside of these business matters. I'm sure there are companies that want Jacob Fatu. You could do anything with this guy. He's so talented, but again, we don't know the whole legal situation and the whole contract thing, and we don't know the wishes of these companies or these performers, what they want and what they're striving for. So I mean, it's all just speculation from us at this point.
For sure it is. What we don't have to speculate on is the other couple of matches that are on the card for this Saturday. We've got the MLW World Tag Team Championship that has almost just disappeared over the last couple shows in general, but currently being held by the Calling, Akira and Ricky Shane Page. They're going to be defending in a ladders match against the second gear crew of Matthew Justice and one called Manders. What do you think about this one coming up, Papa Smokes?
Yeah, well, I'm glad to see that the tag team titles become involved on this show again, because that used to be one of the hottest scenes in MLW. Do you remember the first year or two that we were watching? They had such a vibrant tag team scene, along with the Von Erichs and various other awesome tag teams, including Limelight and Hernandez and the LAX and all that.
Parks. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've seen some great tag team action. So it's good to see the belts being featured again. Since the Calling has amassed so much of the gold in MLW, I think we need to mix it up a little bit, shake up that snow globe and see what happens, and maybe try putting the straps on somebody else, or get another a couple of tag teams with some momentum coming up there that can challenge and make some exciting matches for the belts.
I could see this going the second gear cruise way. This might be a way to take the belts off of these guys, because again, they're holding singles gold as well as tag gold. I think it'd be a perfect opportunity so that those belts could become more, utilized on these main cards. So outside of that, we've got, of course, the main event for the MLW World Heavyweight Championship. It is going to be Mr. Beaumaye, fan of the show, and our good friend Alex Kane. He's going to be defending once again, this time against the Samoan Werewolf, Jacob Fatu. Damn, Papa Smokes, if I ever did fear for Alex Kane's run as champion, I slightly fear for Alex Kane this Saturday, because this is going to be the fight of his life. This is definitely the toughest contest he's had to face so far.
Oh yeah, slightly fear. I mean, Alex Kane should be quaking in his boots right now, and that's saying something, because this is a champion and a wrestler that's come along with such brash confidence and arrogance. I honestly think Alex Kane doesn't fear any other man or any other wrestler on the MLW roster. But if there's anyone that's a huge threat to his belt, now he's dealt with Alexander Hammerstone already, but now he's got Jacob Fatu. This is a guy that's been champion at all levels in the company, has had a more than a year-long run with that belt. If Alex Kane should ever fear to maybe have that belt grasped out of the Beaumaye Fight Club's hands, it could be during this match, no doubt, with Jacob Fatu. All I can say is, Alex, watch for that flying moonsault, man, because once he does those springboards, you might be just finished.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting there. And they got a lot of stuff happening at the tapings this Saturday, too. A lot of, like Bobby was saying, you got Zeta Steel, Gia Scott. They've also got a featherweight title match happening on the tapings. It's going to be Janai Kai versus Delmi Exo versus Tiara James, Tony Deppen and Nolo Catano. You got Talon and Jimmy Lloyd. You've got Tom Lawler and a mystery partner taking on the Beaumaye Fight Club, Mr. Thomas and O'Shea Edwards. Just, Kevin Black, TJ Crawford. Like, this is all on the taping side of things. As BDJ late to the party, but shows up just at the time to have some fun. But yeah, I'm looking at this thing. Like, there's 7 taped matches and only 4 on the actual card. And I know that, they're about 2 hours anyway. So I don't know if they're just planning to give one of these matches a lot of time, or if they're going to slot something in. There's going to be some sort of surprise thing or some segment that they're going to toss into this one come Saturday night. So I guess we'll wait and see. But you're going to be able to check that out with us. Well, you're going to have to check it out by watching it on Fight TV, everybody, just like we do. But you're going to be able to join us, hang out, party, and talk all about it here on the watch along on Saturday night. That's going to be a fun time for sure. Bobby saying, I see Tiara James taking the pin in that triple threat match. Yeah, and then maybe working towards setting something up there. I want to just mention this, Pop Smoke. So you've got Fightland coming up this Saturday, but they're already promoting December the 7th. That's a Thursday night, MLW's one-shot event. There is already the equivalent amount of announced matchups for the main card of one shot as there is for MLW Fightland this Saturday. So I'm just going to run over these here quickly so you've got them. We've got a Princess of Princess Championship match as Mayu Yamashita is going to be defending against Delmi Exo. You got Satoshi Kojima is going to be taking on Filthy Tom Lawler. Ricky Shane Page is going to be defending the MLW National Openweight Championship against Jimmy Lloyd. And then you've got Alex Kane, the champion. Oh, and now this is an interesting twist. It is now listed as taking on either Alex Kane or Jacob Fatu against Matt Cardona for this Saturday. But they still put Matt Cardona despite the fact that he is listed in a loser leaves MLW. It's kind of a mess. But either way, 4 matches already built for a card when we've only got 4 built for this Saturday. And usually they go typically 5.
Yeah, well, those 4 matches almost sound as good or better than the pay-per-view, I must say. So I'm looking forward to the tapings as well. And it kind of seems like towards the end of this calendar year, they're looking to put some of those titles up and get a little action around that. I expect to see between those 2 cards a couple of title changes and maybe just the roster shaken up a little bit.
I could see that as well, too. It's going to be very interesting. And again, the Featherweights Championship on the taping is on the line, but again, it could still be on the line come December 7th. We haven't seen if they're going to have another. They could end up with 2 featherweight matchups on an MLW live card. That would be the first time in the company's history that they've had the featherweights in 2 highlighted matchups on one of their main cards so far.
No, and good. Like we've been saying for the past 2 years at least, let's get this featherweights division going. Let's get some momentum under the wheels. Let's get it going. I know Bobby wants to see that. He's a big fan of ladies wrestling as well. So let's get it going. I like it. We had a legitimate woman as the champion, the first champion, Taya Valkyrie, just to launch the whole thing. And since then, now we've got some younger and less experienced wrestlers coming up. They're just as hungry for gold. And like you said, MLW is a stopping place, a stepping stone, so to speak, for some of these grapplers to move onward and upward in the business. So these Delmi Exo, people like Delmi Exo, Janae Kai, and Tiara James, and Becca, and anybody else that's kicking around that featherweights division, let's get it going. I want feuds. I want matches. I want championship matches. And I want to see some great competition.
Exactly. And Bobby saying, looking forward to watching Tom Lawler versus Satoshi Kojima, 2 former MLW heavyweight champions.
Yeah.
And then also Mayu Yamashita versus Delmi Exo at one shot there. And again, because there's going to be that crossover with New Japan Pro Wrestling, very, very much so at one shot there. I know that had mentioned to Melball Collins, not sure if she's still in the chat there, to join us on that night as well, too, as well as Chris Parrish, who loves joining us on the tailgate watch-along parties, and we wouldn't have it any other way. And, we've been having Chris Best pop in. They've been a lot of fun. The fun and the party has been picking up here for these MLW shows, and I love every second of it, Pop.
Oh, yeah.
One thing I got to know, do we have a food picked theme at all for Saturday? Is there anything we're doing for this tailgate party?
Well, I haven't been thinking about it too much. You know me, Munson. I like my hot wings. I'm always down to do that. But if we have a theme, I will go there too.
Yeah, I didn't have a theme in particular or anything like that. I was actually thinking this time around I might make some nice homemade hamburgers or something like that. I might fire those up there. I've got a nice technique I like that I make my hamburgers with, and I might go that direction this time. But that might be the food theme. I'm not sure if you're paused up there, Pop Smokes. I'll give you a second to get back. Bobby saying free Becca. We got a free Pop of Smokes there too. He's got that. I don't know if he's just giving me the evil eye for what I said. No, there he is. He's back. He's back with us. So, yeah, I was just saying, Papa Smokes, food, it's a, whatever we choose. I might go the burger route. You might go the wing route. Who knows what Parrish and Chris Best will be doing. But I'm thinking, do we have an idea what we're drinking? Is there a theme to the drinking? Do we want to go back to the whiskey? Or are we just drinking beers this Saturday? What's this Saturday all about when it comes to the drinking side?
Well, I know we had thought maybe about doing something Christmas themed, or is it too early for that? It might be too early. We've got a few more podcasts, but I was thinking of trying
Christmas theme for one shot on December 7th.
Okay, yeah, perfect for that.
Yeah.
I want to try some Kraken dark rum with some eggnog, perhaps, so really get it festive.
Yeah. I like the sounds of that. That sounds good. So December 7th, we're cracking out the Kraken and the eggnog there for a festive holiday theme. But I'm thinking, well, we keep it simple here for this one. Again, we're kind of keeping away from the holiday themes in November because here in Canada we don't do Thanksgiving here in the good old month of November. So we got a little bit of a breather between the holidays. So why don't we let's go with the theme of just good old beer and whiskey this Saturday night. Whatever's on the card for beer and whiskey this Saturday for Fightland. So
works for me.
And of course, I mean, we obviously, the one other thing that we do off screen that, kind of picks the party up a little bit there too, here in Canada. That's right. We are the very Cheech and Chong of the wrestling community. We are the Cheech and Chong of wrestling commentary when it comes to Prairie Pro Wrestling, Papa Smokes. And nobody stays in those circles of joint passing longer than Papa Smokes and Bobby Munson. They're tapping out. They're throwing in the white flags, and there we are just puffing away, show them how champs get it done. You can't beat the Video Bros when it comes to that kind of stuff. As the song says, we don't need no sleep because the party don't stop. But unfortunately, for tonight, we are going to stop the party in terms of the show. We're going to let you know about Rogue Energy, our sponsors here on the program. Head on over to rogueenergy.com and hit that promo code OLEPODS for 10% off of your order. And there's all the places that you can follow our local establishment, whether it be on Twitch or YouTube. We're looking for likes, follows, subscribes, all those wonderful things. And check us out on all the social media, anywhere you can find social media. I guarantee you, OLE is playing in that field. And now, for the most expensive portion of the entire program. And no, it's not Bobby laughing on the floor, but that is the priceless moment of every program right there. But the most expensive portion of the program is the most expensive ticker in the history of professional wrestling. It's Papa Smokes' ticker.
Woo! The greatest ticker of all time, baby. And what it says is, I can be found on Elon Musk's free speech wonderland known as X. I'm at Smokes_Papa. And then you can also find me hanging on Twitch at Papa_Smokes_.
That's where you're going to be able to reach out to Papa Smokes. There is my ticker down below. That is all the places that you're going to be able to find me, Bobby Munson. And I am going to be sending you guys over right now on Twitch side to our good friend Heel Kevin, as he is currently on. But you can reach out to me at any time. I've also got shows here, including Busting Out. We got the Tailgate Watch Party this Saturday. Busting Out on Sunday, where I'm sure we'll be talking about all the events from this weekend's professional wrestling. It is going to be a great time, so make sure that you're following along, doing all those great things. Give it OLE hello to our good friend Heel Kevin, as we said, and you're over there. But that is going to be it for myself and Papa Smokes. We thank you for tuning in, and until next Thursday, take care, everybody.